So let's get into the last team in the Metro Division. The enemies, the people that, I mean, to be honest, Penguins owned the Capitals for the longest time. So let's go into them. Washington Capitals. And they are 6.3 mil over the cap as of right now. Their highest paid player is Alexander Ovechkin. And he said, fuck a pay cut as I get older. I'm staying the same. 9.5 million for the next 4 years. Yeah. Kuznetsov, 7.8 mil, solid. TJ Oshie, 5.75. Oshie, I don't feel like reached what I thought he would reach, but, 5.75 is not bad for him. Anthony Mantha 5.7. And then the notables on the back end with John Carlson at 8 mil, Orlov at 5.1. And then you got Darcy Kemper coming in there to make 5.25, getting that cup bonus. Let's get into it. Depth charts and all that. Alexander Ovechkin, who I don't know if he just doesn't believe in aging, but this man is still like one of the best scorers in the league. 77 games played, 50 goals, 40 assists for 90 points. Kuznetsov is center, the playmaker, 79 games played, 24 goals, 54 assists for 78 points. And then you have Connor Brown slotted in there, 64 games played, 10 goals, 29 assists for 39 points. The main point of that line is you see him at the left wing just chilling. You throw it that way, it's going in the net. Like, that's all you got to do. Just feed it to him. He oh, man. I mean,
he just stands still. Like, I don't understand how people don't understand. You see Alex Ovechkin right there. Stay on him. Like, don't give him... And they leave him open. My man has enough time to do that nice little wind-up and slap it home every single time. Like,
bro, he's just so good. Like, goalies know what's going to happen. Players know what's going to happen. But he still does it anyways, and they can't stop it. Like, and it's weird, right? Because he's just got a hard shot. Some players like the really fast shots where it's like mile per hour wise, but just something about his shot, dude. It's just different. It's an absolute different type of shot, and he's a pure bona fide first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Second line, you got Connor McMichael, 21 years old, 68 games last season, 9 goals, 9 assists, 18 points. You got Dylan Strome, 69 games played, 22 goals, 26 assists, 48 points. He had a pretty good season last season. Anthony Mantha.
Yeah, I'm surprised
37 games played.
They were able to get Strome on that free agents from the free agents list, because Strome has been like one of those main characters holding Chicago together for the past couple of years down the middle. So that when the Washington Capitals signed him, I was actually kind of surprised. Like, really? Like, that's where he ended up?
I think it's good for him, because I think he just needed a fresh start.
Yeah. A team that's competitive.
Absolutely. Anthony Mantha, 37 games played, 9 goals, 14 assists, 23 points. For when he played, he was pretty productive. Marcus Johansson, 69 games played, 9 goals, 20 assists for 29 points. Lars Eller, 72 games played, 13 goals, 18 assists for 31 points. TJ Oshie, 44 games played, 11 goals, 14 assists for 25 points. I mean, personally, I'd like to see Oshie kind of bounce back, but he's had to deal with a lot in the offseason and stuff like that, just due to his father's condition and the father situation. But I mean,
he's also 35. I mean, he is
30
off of that prime. You know what I mean?
He is. Maybe this is what he's going to be, but like TJ, he's still got phenomenal hands. You got Connor Sheary, Nick Dowd, and then Carter Hathaway to round out the fourth line. I mean, Sheary at 43 points, 71 games played last season. I don't see him down on this fourth line. I don't really agree with this depth chart. I think you could slot him up maybe even to the third or the second line. I mean, Marcus Johansson, if this is the same Marcus Johansson I'm thinking of, because I kind of sometimes confuse the Johanssons. Yeah. This is the guy. Johansson's up and down. I remember him on the Bruins. I remember him playing for Buffalo in the yeah. So, I mean, Johansson's okay. He's like a 40 to 50 point scorer when he's on, but he's very up and down. I could see McMichael being put down. We could go forever on this. So, what are your thoughts about the forward group here?
Everybody just needs to understand the goal. Feed Ovechkin. That's it. If you're getting on the ice and you see Ovechkin, it's still standing in the same place he's been standing for the past however many years he's been in the league, just give him the puck.
Yeah.
Just understand your role. But as far as like the overall, I feel like the team has been restructured just a little bit here or there, a few pieces. They just need to start clicking outside of that one line. They can't be a one-line team, as they're finding out all these other teams that are now considered the top contenders for the cup have 2 to 3 lines.
Yeah.
2 very solid line and a third line that can be, maybe a little bit inconsistent in and out, but they have that third line capability, right?
Yeah.
And so that's where they are right now. They're looking for what's going to work for them, because it just as you can see, look, every line outside of that top line look like third line points. There's nobody there that screams out,
Strong.
I can be on the side. Yeah, but he was on Chicago and he had a carry.
True. But being on a better team with some probably better players around him, you could see a point increase though too. I mean, there's the flip side to that argument.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, if you look at the players that they had from last season to this season, nobody has second line quality. Nobody. Right? Now, you take the additions and everything else, and you're hoping that some of these guys are going to be able to improve, and maybe one of these lines is going to hit second line quality. But when you only have a one-line team, you're not going anywhere. I
mean, that's a fair point. I think that's the problem Washington's had in the past few postseasons.
Yeah, I think it's like
because they're really good in the regular season, but then when it gets to that crunch time in the postseason where you can line match, it becomes far more difficult. So I think they're an average forward group, but when you have Ovechkin, I mean, it's so hard to say average, but I mean that's just what I'm seeing outside of that first line, which I think is elite, just because of Ovechkin and Kuznetsov. The rest of it you could probably see more, and I think Dylan Strome though could hit his stride. You never know. Maybe he turns the corner here.
I honestly think that they'll move Oshie onto the line with Strome.
I agree. I actually see that happening just because Oshie, I think, still has some good hands.
Yeah.
Let's get into this defense. You got Veharvi, 79 games played, 8 goals, 9 assists, 17 points. John Carlson, a nice simple name for me. 70 games played, 17 goals, 54 assists for 71 points. Phenomenal point production. Dmitry Orlov, 76 games played, 12 goals, 23 assists, 35 points. Nick Jensen, 76 games played, 5 goals, 16 assists for 21 points. Eric Gustafsson, you have 59 games played, 3 goals, 15 assists for 18 points. And then you have Van Riemsdyk, 72 games played, 1 goal, 16 assists for 17 points. And I actually like this decor relatively.
Yeah, super solid, bro. Super solid.
I mean, I like it a lot. I think that with, Carlson's obviously a number one type defenseman. Orlov is good, good on both ends, can play either side. I think when you have Van Riemsdyk as a third pairing defenseman in the system, that's solid veteran player that, should be able to hold his own in the third line role. So I would say this is an above average decor. Like I said, I like this decor quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I definitely think that that they're definitely above average. But what I like is I'm not announcing his name. I'm just gonna call him Martin. But bringing in someone like Martin, 22 years of age, right? Getting him familiarized with the role. Now you're starting to kind of infuse some of the youth, and it's one of those things that most of their guys are hitting the tail end of their prime,
Right.
So it's one of those situations where you want to start doing this not only on the defensive side, but also
forwards,
on the front end. You know what I mean? Like on the forward side, you got younger with bringing in Strome. You know,
McMichael up there. Yeah, like you got some youth.
You have some of it, infused in here, and that's the way to go, right? Because let's face it, age is one of those things that it's going to happen whether you want it to or not. And it's happening to a lot of teams a lot quicker than they possibly thought. And you have to start making the adjustments. For Washington, I know for quite some time, it's been one of those things. How long can they keep it going? Well, I mean, Ovechkin doesn't seem like he's stopping anytime soon, and neither are his teammates. But I think that it's time for them to infuse maybe one or two young players here or there. Obviously, they're doing that with the current structure that they have, which is nice to see. And I think, that by the end of the season, maybe one or two more get on here as well.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Let's get into the goaltenders. You got Darcy Kemper signing for $5.25 in the offseason. Phenomenal season last season, 57 games played, 2.54 goals against, 921 save percentage, 37 wins and only 12 losses. And then you have Charlie Lindgren, who was in the Montreal system quite a bit, actually. He kind of found his stride with the Blues last season. Limited sample size, though. 5 games played, 1.22 goals against, a 958 save percentage, and 5-0. I like Washington's defense, and I could see Kemper making some similar numbers, but I think there's going to be a little bit of a decline just because you're going from like one of the best teams in the league to kind of they're a good team, but not a great team in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But I mean, Kemper put up phenomenal numbers with the Coyotes though as well throughout his career. It's not like he's just a one-season wonder. It's not like he's Varlamov. I mean, he's a really, he's a solid tender, but like, it's hard to judge. It's hard to judge anyone that comes out of Colorado, right? Because they've made average goalies look fantastic. So, I think Darcy Kemper, like, he could get like probably a 915 plus sabers, and I think he'd be solid. I mean, I think their biggest question mark is the backup position. I mean, are they truly going with Lindgren? I mean, just let me actually show how the record shows, like, his statistics ain't so hot. Like,
it's not.
Five games, like 958, 122, but like, let's look at before the NHL. 6 games played, 8.8 save percentage, 3.33. 1 game played season 898, 1 game. Then he had 14 games played, 17-18, 908, and then 949, 16-17. Like, it seemed like he struggled here. Maybe he just needed to get out of the Montreal system because it looked like he found his game. But I mean, that's a lot of faith. That's a lot of faith. Yeah,
He's a backup right now, right? That's all you got to look at it as, and I'm pretty sure that's all that Washington is looking at as is like, hey, listen, we just need you to win a couple of games in the back end and give our the starter Kemper a break here or there, and that's it. And if he can find and develop his game at that point, I think that's what'll maybe help him propel to that next step. Not having that pressure as well, you know what I mean? Where he's like, he's pretty young and you don't want to break his back early, right? I mean, he's not really young, but these goaltenders are seeming to bloom a lot later in life.
Yeah, I think it's because it takes a little bit longer to learn it at a pro game for some guys. I mean, a guy that's actually on here that I could think could challenge. He was a super big prospect, right? He was for where is he? Where's Zachary Fucale?
Oh, okay.
I mean, he let me click on him here. He did phenomenal last year in sample time. It was kind of a feel-good story because this was a guy that was viewed as like the next guy, like a big potential like all-star type player. Didn't really turn out for him. And I mean, he played 4 games last season, 1.75 goals against, 924 and when he played. It looks like he's been up and down the AHL, the East Coast. He didn't look that too hot with the Hershey Bears last season. 896 save percentage, 2.62 goals against in 31 games. But he did well in his sample size in the NHL. Did really good last year with the Hershey Bears in 11 games. It does seem like he's starting to trend relatively recent in the right direction. So, that's a guy I feel like in that camp battle might maybe not get it out the gate, but could take that spot because he has some experience and he used to be a pretty touted prospect. So, I think their tandem is an average tandem just because I don't know about the backup. I know he's a backup, but it's kind of hard to judge. You know what I mean? Is Lindgren is that a small sample size, or is that going to be him? Because if that's going to be him, or even if he's 75% of that, that's an extremely good backup. So, what's your thoughts?
No, I definitely agree. He looked like he's done well in the minor league system. He had a few stumbles here or there, but overall his numbers are kind of better. They're better than oh my God, what's his name? Than Lindgren. They're better than Lindgren.
Yeah.
So maybe it's one of those where it's like, hey, listen, we're gonna get this guy, we're gonna put him here, right? And in the back of the head of management and the organization, they're like, hopefully this lights a fire under him and makes him take that next step. It could be one of those things. Or maybe they just feel like maybe he needs another year, or at least maybe half a year to develop in the minor league system, and then bring him up.
It's going to be an interesting battle to see in camp because this is probably Fucale's best opportunity to finally prove himself on an NHL level. And because I really don't see much outside of him. Yeah. I don't think they're going to call up Stevenson. I think some of these younger guys are going to protect, let them kind of develop in a Hershey system. So let's get into it. The division. They finished 4th last season, 44 wins, 26 losses, 12 overtime losses for 100 points. Pretty solid season. Where do you think they will finish now?
They're going to easily finish in 3rd and also challenging for the 2nd and 1st spot if they all stay healthy and if everybody just does their job. It really is going to be one of those situations where it's going to be Pittsburgh, the Rangers, and Washington all contending for those top 3 spots. But those are your top 3 for the whole division.
I'd have to agree with you, 3 or 4. I think I've seen them slot into that 3rd position because, like I said, I'm not high on Carolina. So I think you're just going to see, Rangers, Pittsburgh, and Washington just go up a spot. They're a one-line team. It is what it is, but in the regular season, they're always able to do Capitals things, and that's win. And I think they have enough grit to kind of pull it out a lot of the regular season. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can, if Dylan Strome can kind of come into his own and you see some youth, some younger players come in and kind of really make an impact. Who knows? Maybe they could be challenging for a second, but I'm thinking 3 to 4, most likely 3rd place for me on that. So, anything else to say before we get out of here?
No, I think we covered it all. Rangers number 1, Pittsburgh number 2, Washington number 3, Carolina and the Islanders are fighting for 4th and 5th.
Columbus, we had
Columbus. No, right. So that's the 4, 5, and 6 spot is a battle between Carolina, the Islanders, and Columbus.
And then New Jersey and Philly. Sorry, fans. We don't see much happening for you. So, we are the Locker Room. I'm Captain Paul. That's Fajardo. If you are just coming onto this channel, please make sure to subscribe. We do a lot of hockey content, a lot of sports content on this channel. We're going to be bringing a lot of hockey content throughout the whole season, probably doing weekly recaps, kind of discussing teams, trades, acquisitions. Me and Fajardo might even try to go to a few games and kind of maybe have some type of, some little bit streaming type events. Who knows? So If you haven't already, make sure to comment down below. Give us your thoughts. Who do you think is going to be the best team in the Metro, and who's going to be the worst? We'd be interested to know your thoughts down below. Again, I'm Captain Paul Desfajardo, and we will see you in the next episode. Later.
Peace.